Hello. Hey, Georgia Peach. Hey, this was one in a hurry. So I'm going to wait a minute, see if anyone else comes in. But Wendy's rental hit the market. I'm going to put a link on in the chat. Ooh, girl. Things are moving. So it was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks the rental hit the market. And I was talking to Debbie Martin, and I thought, well, I should check. Well, I got to do something. What I need to do is clear all the trash off my desk. I have so many papers to go through because of taxes that I was like, lots of paperwork. I don't like clutter at all. As you can imagine, it's not my personality, I like clutter. Although my house has clutter. It's cold here in North British Columbia. What city is her rental in? Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas. She moved there because, George, what we discovered last night, he only uses Jorge when he's at an immigration party. You know what I'm saying? So he goes to some immigration party, and then all of a sudden he has Jorge on his. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm dropping here? Let me put it in a file folder. I literally just found it. And I was like, oh, I got to do this quick before other people try to steal it. Because everybody steals. Because it's social media. I don't get all up in a word about it. But you can see the furnishings inside. It's well furnished for sure. You know what I mean? Well furnished. Where's her? Where's the photos from yesterday? Oh, here it is. So I'll show you what I mean with the, he uses Jorge socially, since that's how we're going to say it from now. So you can change your name socially. You can just go ahead and change your kids' names socially. The government name, la-de-da. The grand jury is meeting this week in Leon County. I have a friend who's on the grand jury, for sure. But of course, you can't ask her anything. She's been on the grand jury for months. Months, I tell you. She's been on a grand jury before. I don't know how that works or how someone gets lucky enough to be on a grand jury. I'd probably lose my mind. But she's been on it for months. So like movie stars. Yeah, like Jorge's a movie star. So Jorge is his legal name. I don't even think it's his legal name. Everywhere I've seen, he's under George Estrada, but his family might have called him Jorge at home. I don't know. But anyway, Debbie Martin was kind enough to send me photos that were found on Reddit of Wendy, back in 2024. So here is the photos. I'm going to show you the photos of her again because, we just cannot get enough of that whore. So this is her. And I do have a foul mouth. My name is Patty Wilson, and I don't care. People send me notes. You shouldn't talk like that. What are you? So anyway, see, here he's Jorge. Jorge. But here, I found, let me show you. I found another photo. I gotta go to it. I took a screenshot and put it on YouTube today. Here he's George. Here he's George. He was a guest on a podcast. Find George on LinkedIn. But we know now that George's LinkedIn goes to 404. It goes to nowhere. It's been removed, which I think is hilarious. He no longer works for Amazon. In July, he took a startup gig in outside of New York City. It's AI focused, and I'm 99% positive it's a remote gig. Like he could live wherever. So anyway, George here because it's convenient. And then Jorge. Jorge here. Jorge Estrada. He's trying to look all serious. Just don't have any time for it. So here's a rental. Why you all come to listen to me. This is the rental that she's at. It's in Austin, Texas. I like everything about it but the back of it. I think it's ugly. There's Debbie. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for this. Debbie inspired me. She was like the grand jury's meeting and then Charlie's interview with Hub Pages. And then I was like, I need to look at and see if that rental's still available. Which is hilarious to me. Here's the inside. The old photos, it was just a vacant house. When they rented it, it was just vacant. There was nothing to it. If you're just tuning in, I'm Patty Wilson, and this is Wendy Adelson's rental that was with Jorge. Don't know if they're still together. I wouldn't be with her, but I wouldn't have dated a murderer to begin with. We're all different. There's a large TV on the wall, very large. It's a stone's throw away from being cracked, right? Very white with 2 teenage children, right? All the white furniture. This is pretty. At least it's clean. Jorge's cleaner than Wendy Lynn. Wendy Jail. What is she? Wendy Jail, not Wendy Lynn. There's more. Very tasteful. Very put together. Little Roomba. She's got the little Roomba going. Little incensey things. Super cute. When. Such a bitch. She likes a drink. There's all the wine cooler. This runs $3,500 a month. There's your trash can. When we stage a property, or we take the fucking pictures now. Really, just take them down because you can put them back up. Take them down. Little breakfast area. Cutesy. Little workstation. Probably for Jorge. Cars. I don't understand. So here's the laptop. Double screen over there. Someone's playing in a band. Very organized. Hard to believe that would be her, but very organized. This is a bonus room, loft area upstairs. If you're screwing somebody and you want the romance, don't put a fucking computer in the room. Don't. It just kills it, dude. Don't. Stupid. Closet, his and hers, ready to go. How much? Oh, yeah. This is hers because she wore that dress. I think this is the dress that she wore to the graduation. My God, how much scent killer do you need, woman? Look at that. Well, talk about Febreze. Good night, dude. Stay off the refried beans. Oh, my God. We're picking up what you're putting down. Look at that. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. That's a hell of a Febreze station there. At least it's cleaner than the last one she listed. That was horrible. Horrible. Were they Airbnb in this room? Because this has the coffee maker right here. I don't see an owl anywhere. Do you? This is the deck. Party lights. This is what I don't like about the house. I hate that there's not a covered porch or something to it. Grill station. Woohoo! Living his life. Living the best life. Anyway, that's what'll get you $3,500 in Austin, Texas. You're just tuning in. This is Wendy's rental. It is on the market. It was put on the market 2 weeks ago. How long has she been there? Hold on 1 second. I'll tell you. Stand by. I'm no Tim Jansen, but I have my sources. No. I'm looking it up. I'm Patty Wilson. This is Patty's Playhouse, and I'm a snoop. That's it. Especially when it comes to real estate. Hi, Michelle. How are you? I always knew Wendy's carpets didn't match the curtains. How would I? Spicy. I just found out the rental was put on the market. There's still furniture in there. So someone's still living in the house, right? I have no idea where she moved to. You got to give me some time, people. Let's just face, like I'm not on her email chain. You know what I'm saying? I am not in her email chain. When did she move into this place? She moved in. Oh, that's why it was a 1-year lease. So she moved in for 9/1/2024. And it was a 1-year lease. Likely she's moving out. Austin housing market is nuts. Well, this is a rental. The house probably staged to sell and is gone. People don't stage rentals. This is a lived-in home. But thanks, Chloe. Thank you, Silver Tresses. Yeah, this is a lived-in home. Wendy's next move. Well, I bet she has a move before the jail. But it would be interesting. Yeah, this is a lived-in house. This isn't a staged. Nobody's staging a rental like this, putting a piano in. It's just not happening. But at least they paid for, the property manager paid for professional photos this time. Is it listed for rent as furnished? No. This is private furniture. It's not listed for rent. When they rented it, it was vacant. So Patty Ruth said she moved states again. Not the again, but definitely made it seem as if she's not in Texas. Well, the only address I have for Colorado thus far is a Postnet box. That's it. Wendy is in Austin. My God, I'm in Austin. I want to meet Wendy and do my own bump. Oh, yeah. Nothing like getting arrested for that. Don't be a Aaron Rickards and start following people. She should move back to Tallahassee and save Georgia and law enforcement the money. Yeah, she's really concerned about law enforcement. I live in Massachusetts, north of Boston, and if that home was here, I'd rent 10 grand or more. My son's mortgage in a wealthy town is $4,500. Well, Texas is cheaper than Florida too, so you know what I'm saying? 2 weeks ago, which makes sense because the lease would have been up for 1 year. Maybe they're going to a smaller place. It doesn't look like a lot of kids live there, does it? Hey, Jennifer, how are you? Hey, everyone. I'm on time finally. Well, this was a spontaneous, how you doing? It's cold here in North British Columbia. What's the weather out like today? It's 83 here, but it feels like probably 80, 10. It's hot. It was warm today. Again, or the house was in Austin, Texas. Things are moving. Hi, Polly, want a cracker? Hey, Sheepfly, how are you? Hey, Susan. The grand jury could be meeting all day today. The 3G court is closed all day for a meeting, so maybe it's soon. I have no idea. Hey, B Rabbit. I thought she moved to Colorado. Jude's, we have no idea where she moved. She has a P.O. box in Colorado. That's all she has. It's all that's available. Mr. As soon as they sign up for utilities somewhere, I'll get an alert. It's the beauty of utilities. So the person who was renting to them found out, no, they had it. They moved in late August, so their lease would be up. It's a gorgeous low 80s in Dallas. I have to tell you, I don't think there's a state in the union where you could find out someone's mother was arrested and convicted of murder and get them, the daughter, out. Like, just doesn't work that way. Fair housing, you can't even ask anybody anymore if they're a felon because of fair housing. Thank you, Brady. That's very nice of you. AA Legal reports, yes, it's on VineLink that Katie was moved from McCulloch County. Let's see if she has her booking thing up here yet. She just, when she goes, she's just going back to Lowell. So I just put Katie in instead of Catherine. No mugshot yet. There's no mugshot for Katie. It's good to see your subs up. Well deserved. Thank you, Polly. Thank you. We get what Patty is. Word on the street, Reddit, is that the grand jury meets every week. The grand jury meets every week. You just walked upstairs with a giant pile of laundry. I mean, there's nothing more entertaining than looking in an unindicted co-conspirator's house, right? She definitely leveled up her furniture selection from that condo. But it kind of makes sense, you know. Jorge / George's LinkedIn is out, gone. So maybe he dumped her. We can only hope. If he can, if he has the balls to dump her, God bless him. But Texas, people have asked about a marriage certificate. Texas was very hard. There is not a lot of public record in Texas. It's very private. She had a condo in Florida. She has a house that she rented in Texas. How would I know? How would I know? Honestly. Do I look like I'm a family friend of Wendy Adelson's that she would tell me how she's bankrolling someplace? Really? How come out of all the jail calls we've heard, there are none calling Wendy? Because no one called her. No one called her. Wendy, I hate saying it, was the smartest criminal of all. Thank you, Julie. Do you know what I mean? No one called Wendy. She said on the stand, the question was, when was the last time you spoke to your mother? And she said November 2023. So it was before Charlie was convicted. Wendy won't answer. She actually does listen to her attorney, so I'll give her that. I know. Do I look like her friend? Like, I'm not one of those 12 on that. Do I look like Tova? I wonder if she still talks to that Jane. What a bitch she was. Imagine being Jane and then being like, Jane says, well, it was probably Jeffrey Lacoste. Well, what a bitch you are. Do you think he didn't know about Wendy's past when he began dating her? 100%. This woman is about erasing her past. She's not about sharing her past. It's been out for 11 years, but like Debbie Martin says, it's not out in South Florida. No one talks about it down there. You'd have to know the county to find marriage records in Texas as a Texan. She may be married to change her name. She literally stood on the stand or sat on the stand last week and said her name has not changed. Grand jury proceedings are confidential. Thank you, Victoria. Can Charlie write to Donna? No. And all writings and all letters are read by the administrative departments of every prison and jail. So no, he cannot. She's also getting SSA benefits for the kids. So the kid, yeah, someone brought that up last night, which I thought was brilliant. She is not, those kids are not being adopted until, she's not giving up $5,000 a month. Wendy has caller ID. She became a lawyer for a reason. Yeah, but she's a shitty lawyer. Somebody who doesn't know what an affidavit is. I'm behind. Just heard you say the grand jury is meeting. It's not what I said. I did not say that. I'm reading posts from other people. I have absolutely no idea when the grand jury meets. And I guarantee you, Katie Cool Lady has no idea when the grand jury meets here in Leon County either. Thank you, everyone. I think I'm going to like Patty. What, is someone upset because I made fun of Jorge? I don't care. She even claims she didn't know what prejudice meant. Yeah. When the final relocation thing came out, and it was with prejudice, means you can't file an appeal. I hate saying this. Well, I don't believe you. So, frankly, my dear says, I hate saying this. Wendy's going to get by with this. No, she's not. You couldn't possibly listen to that jury video from TikTok and think she's getting away with it. And what's beautiful about it is 14 jurors, 2 alternates, right? They go bye-bye. 12 remaining. Only 2 of the remaining are even over 50. Most of these people were in their adolescence when Dan was murdered, and they still think she's guilty. Wendy is going down. I think so too. I don't think this was her stuff in the condo. Oh my. Oh dear. It was her stuff in the condo. The dirty condo with a dirty shower with her stuff, and these are my sunshines. It was her stuff. It was her rental. Her realtor took the photos. Wendy is foobarred. If you don't know what that means, Here in the United States, it means fucked up beyond all recognition. I don't know what it means in Europe, but here that's what it means. Patty, you crack me up. Well, thank you. I'm surprised we haven't had any Donna drama since her conviction. That's because there's no tablets in the jail. This is Austin. You know, I could tell people exactly what, happened. I don't know. And people would be like, I don't think it happened. Really? First of all, I'm a real estate agent. Second of all, I know the difference between staging and not staging. Third of all, no freaking stager in their right mind is going to have the trash can there. They're not going to have her bag. Where is it in the laundry room? Is this it? Or the closet looking like this. You'd shut the damn door. It's not staged. I hate Wendy too. But look at it. This dress she wore at the graduation of her lover's son from Baylor. That is the dress. It's the dress. She had collective amnesia during Donna's trial. Well, thank you, Jennifer. I'm kind of dressed down today. I don't know where she is. I don't know. She doesn't call me and say, hey, Patty. She's not on the Vine link. Yep. She's not on the Vine link saying where she's headed. You know what I'm saying? Were you directly behind Harvey? Sometimes I was. Yeah. Yeah, she was she's definitely the smartest of the family by not calling people. But this dress she wore at the Baylor. Let me see if I can find that photo someone sent me. If I kept it. Someone has it. I don't know if I kept it available. I don't know if I kept it available. But people saw it on Reddit and they blurred out the boys' photos. It was a couple years ago, and that was the dress that she was wearing. This is not a realtor staged property. Just isn't. There's someone's tag or something from graduation, right? Little shredder nearby, super cute. Everything's color coordinated throughout the house. I'll give her that. But that's the dress she wore to Baylor. You think she's pretty, but you think she's evil? No, it doesn't look. I don't even see any shoes in the closet. See, if we were staging it, we would unplug everything and hide the cords behind it. So there's a movie projector in here. And why? This is just, for us, a faux pas. If you have all of this space, why put everything against the wall? Looks ridiculous. Again, it's a much cleaner bathroom than the other one. I still don't understand the Febreze issue. That's huge. It's like extra large. You know what I mean? But she gone. She leaving. Stop it. That's the bed that was on the condo. That's the duvet that was on her bed in the condo in South Beach. Hold on. Stand by. I got to go back through my content. I'm never going to be able to find it on the fly. That's the duvet. The same duvet. Is she spending her... Ah, came right up. Oh my God. Look. Don't look. Don't pay attention to my fat face. See that duvet right there? It's the same duvet. It's the same one. It's Wendy's house. That is the same. And I hate duvets. They slip. I should send you the pictures of my son's house, sold in 4 days. Good for him. No way. How do you want to know? Hi. Hello. I really been following this case and think Wendy every single thing from day one. So do we, Q. So do we. Hi, Anya. How are you? Hi, Gloria. Wendy decorates like a college student. The sofa against the wall is her style. The rest is clearly Jorge. You weren't thinking the condo was staged. I think someone else was renting it. I don't even know what you're talking about. She was renting the condo. It was her stuff. I can't. I'm not going to go back. She must like the snuggle. Patty, I bet she even moved the hairs from the shower floor into the new place. Ooh, come on, murder. How do you know, pussy? How do you know, pussycat? Oh my. It's hard to repeat everything, but this rental is in Texas where she lived with Jorge. I do not know if she's still living with Jorge. I do not know where they're moving to. I do not know anything other than the lease started for 9/1/2024 and it's 9/8, so they're probably trying to get rid of it. So these photos and the listing was posted 2 weeks ago. They probably already vacated. The property manager went in and said, hey, can I take photos with your stuff in here? Because it looks better than when it's vacant. And they said, sure. And that's how that works. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not on the list. If she was smart, she'd be moving out of the country. She got to get a one-way ticket. No wedding license found. We don't know if they got married, where they got married. They could have been on vacation somewhere. She gone. The Febreze is probably because Wendy shits the bricks. That's funny. I mean, at least this one's clean. The other one was not, right? The other one was not clean. There's tissues everywhere. There's tissues in every room. I don't know what that is. She uses a stand-up mixer. She bakes. Jorge probably bakes. Well, at least 2 weeks ago, they didn't pack their shit, right? Wonder what made her choose Texas. Her man. Her man chose Texas because he worked for Amazon. Amazon's hub is in Austin. Hi, Mr. C. It's hard to keep your house clean when your cleaning lady is in jail. Will Donna's calls post-conviction be released? She has to make some. She's not free to make them the way Charlie was, right? Because there's no tablets in the Leon County Detention Center. None. Those are her tissues from her ISOM interview. She still ain't got them wet yet. Ooh. Tissues cause she's constantly crying. It's amazing what good staging can do for a dumpy place. Hey, that's how I make my living. Oh, thank you. Yeah, F Wendy. What does the sign say? I have absolutely no idea. I can't see. Can't see it. Sorry. How many jokes about Jorge marrying an immigration lawyer? Well, he's from Clifton, Virginia, so the backyard is empty, but the house is nice. Bet it doesn't look that clean every day. Whose house does? Unless you're Scott Coward, my business partner. We never doubt Patty. Thanks, Junebug. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. I thought it was entertaining, if nothing else, because the whole thing is a mess. It's a mess. Can she leave the country through Mexico to another? There's no warrant out for arrest. Beautiful house. The owner isn't selling. He's renting. It was a rental beforehand. It's a rental now. It's only listed for rent. It's not listed for sale. Wendy's face is ultra punchable. What a despicable human. She called Dan her latex. I can't even say it. I'm not going to even say it. They've been dating. I don't remember, but I know it's been. I think the wife died in late 22. His wife died of leukemia. Like, she had the acute leukemia. She died like spontaneously. And then they met like 6-7 months later. In Texas, you can live together for a while and say you're common law, but I think it's longer than a year. And there is no common law in Florida. So if you were married or said you're common law in Texas, Florida does not recognize common law. And that's where they'll be tried. Does anyone know what the alternate jurors would have voted? No. She knew people were scoping her place out. Same reason he took the LinkedIn down. My question was always, why on earth did this family think unaliving Dan was a good idea? Because they didn't get their way. It is amazing what people will do, from trashing a store to shooting someone in the street because you don't get your way. Thanks, trying to find a cure. Going to 1.5. Thank you for replaying. Hit the like button. That would be fantastic. But anyway, if you just started watching, because the numbers have grown considerably, I don't like to think about it. My name is Patty Wilson. I'm a real estate broker in Tallahassee, Florida. And I've followed the Adelson case since that poor man was shot to death in his garage. And this home that I'm showing you right now is Wendy Adelson's rental with the boyfriend lover, Jorge Estrada. Now, he only uses Jorge when he's at a party. Otherwise, everywhere he uses it, it's George. So it's very selective. It's that whole social name thing, right? Isn't that when I changed the boy's name socially? Like, that won't screw up a kid. Anyway, Her rental is for sale. I mean, her rental is up for rent. 2 weeks ago, it went up. Her lease ended around 8:30, like August 30th. And the photographer went in and took professional photos, which is lovely. Love that. And their stuff was still inside. If people ask questions that don't really have and I mean this with all due respect, I have no idea if what is true is being said. Like, you're typing as if I'm in the same frame of mind that you are, and I have no idea what that means. Patty, remind me of the drug dealer who Lewis and Sigfredo stayed with and partied with. Shadrach. Call Erin Rickards. She'll know where to find Shadrach if you want to talk to him. Sometimes I think Wendy should get time served. What? Hell no, Rosemary. Screw that. Probably moved to a nice border town. Phil Markel was in a live chat once and said she moved to Colorado. Florida will honor common law marriages validly established in states that recognize such union. Want to bet? I had one once where they were trying to buy a house and it was a married thing and it didn't work. So, Shadrach, that's right, Shadrach. I don't know where she's moving to. No one calls me and says, hey, Patty, Wendy just moved to 37th Street, Denver, Colorado. I have no idea. I have no idea what she moved. Are you still going to do the trivia thing? Yeah, I'm working with True Crime Wifey because it's going to be a minutia thing. Although it feels like it should be a general one here. But I want to throw minutia. I want to throw the tiniest bits of details in. Is she moving to Vietnam? Not today. You go, Frau Patty. She does need to be cuffed, man. I would love it. When that heifer is shackled and has to stomp because she's convicted, it's going to be a good day. High diet Pepsi drinker. Maybe rented the furnishing since the taste is much better. Well, I'm trying to give Jorge a little bit of a benefit of the doubt. You hear Vietnam is nice this year. Is it winter? First time here. Welcome, Megan. Glad you're cracking up. I'm very not woke. And I'm very not politically correct, and I don't apologize for it because I'm just being myself, but welcome. Well, why not? I have no idea what that means. I'm so sorry. I don't know why not. Oh my God, you didn't just ask that, Shelley. I have no idea. Well, she still owns her condo in South Florida. Every new school those boys go to is Wendy remaking herself and praying they don't find out. Wendy needs to be in prison for life. You need some Z's. Have you gotten any sleep? You're ready for trivia night? We'll probably do it this Sunday. I have an open house. So after the open house. Maybe out of the country. I'm sure she's on a watch list. Give you some time, Joni says. I bet you'll find her. Well, eventually it'll show up because they will, unless they put a utility in a business name, I'll find her. You know what I'm saying? I will find it because it's easy to do. People don't think it's easy, but it's easy. I want to know if the boyfriend stay with her after listening to that testimony from her. See, this thing I have says they moved out over 8/1, but their stuff is still there 2 weeks later, so who knows? But they're gone. Yep. I think his middle name is Lance. So funny. You can't wait to see Wendy in cuffs. Oh, is the red bar mitzvah? Aren't you smart? Hold on, let me look. That's not it. There's 2 red dresses. It could be. I'm telling you, if someone can pull up that Baylor, that is the dress for Baylor. There's not a lot of clothes in there. Shelly would know where she is because Wendy sends bills to Shelly to get money. Well, that's probably why she has the P.O. box, right? That's probably, I gotta move this a little bit. That's probably why she has the P.O. box, is that it's in there instead of, and it's like a 911 address. It's called a postnet. Heard she got a new job in Denver. Heard from who? I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to start asking you all where your sources are. Heard from who? You have no idea. Nobody has any idea where she's working. I know she's still working for that Mike Fernandez in Impact because she went to that party at Impact last winter. Wendy's attorney is probably $2,000 an hour. Well, then she better get to work. She better start charging those hours. What did Jorge get himself into? Wendy's days are numbered. I cannot wait for the show. The side-by-sides of her and Mama Maestro will be fabulous. I can wait for her arrest. As Charlie said, she's intelligent and is probably getting her affairs in order. With your knowledge, when would be the soonest you hear of an indictment? Well, from what I do know, because I do have a friend that's on the grand jury. She's been on a grand jury before. And grand juries are ongoing. They don't just like, oh, there's a new case, let's go sit a grand jury, right? Grand juries are ongoing. And it's for months. So my guess, when you think about the court calendar, is she would be arrested probably before Thanksgiving. You know, they're very concerned about holidays in this court, in the Second Circuit. When you remember Charlie being arrested, everything was about the calendar, all the holidays, the Jewish holidays, the Christian holidays, the legal holidays. Like the judge was willing to have the jurors come in on a Saturday during football season, which I thought wasn't he didn't in the end, but he was considering that, but not a federal holiday. So there's so many federal holidays and there's so many Jewish holidays. You got to kind of work around that. But I bet October. There's no way at this point, after listening to the 4-person on TikTok, that you can't tell me that there isn't enough to convict her. Now, whether they do it or not is up to Jack Campbell. I mean, he's the end. And now I'll go back to what Pat Sanford said when he was being crossed. He was under a cross-examination, and they kept saying, you don't even know the warrant. You didn't even have a warrant. You went down there and there was no warrant. You didn't have a warrant. It wasn't his warrant to get. It was the state's warrant to get. And the state was him hauling around to get the warrant. They couldn't even decide whether to give the man a warrant. He didn't get a warrant until 5 o'clock. He did not get a warrant to arrest her till 5 o'clock. They were still considering, do we, don't we? Do we, don't we? Who does that? My bet is Wendy is going back to South Florida. That is absolutely never happening, Dana. Not happening. Not unless it's at Homestead at the prison. She's not going back to South Florida. Where Wendy is working is that nonprofit immigration. She probably works out of the house. Yeah, you saw the computer. She's not working in an office. You did see somewhere just the other day. It was on Hub Pages, and it was an interview that Charlie Adelson gave to someone. And he said, like he knows, because he doesn't know, He doesn't know unless his attorney is telling him that she's getting her affairs in order. Remember, please, Charlie cannot speak to Donna. Donna cannot speak to Wendy. Wendy wouldn't speak to Donna or Charlie. The only people who would know would be Harvey or their attorneys. That's it. They are not allowed to speak to each other. I bet Pat Sanford knows where she is. Thank you, Shell. I like this spicy patty. Well, it's true, though. I mean, I don't know what everyone's doing. I don't know. Wendy's on the run. Wendy is not on the run. Think about this. Has the state of Florida offered or made a deal to anyone? The answer is no. No. There is no deals being made. The only deal that I would see, and then I would be surprised if it happened, is if Laura said that Wendy could turn herself in. That's the only deal. That's it. I don't think Wendy could attempt to flee anywhere in the world that there isn't someone who knows exactly where she is. Thanks, Need Some Z's. Well, the condo has a mortgage on it. She could sell it, but it's really hard. I don't know if you've heard. It's really hard to sell a condo in South Florida right now. It's not that big and it has no view. So she could sell it, but she has it rented. So the bills are paid. She's already living with the sugar daddy. She's already living in with sugar daddy. Denver is okay, but it's woke. So is Wendy. She's crunchy and woke. They got eyes on her. Of course they do. Every FBI unit in the country has eyes on Wendy Nielsen, and she knows it. Praise the Lord. That rental house is like Wendy's hair. The back of it looks like crap. She doesn't know how to handle her plaits, does she? Can you please send us Wendy's cell phone number? No. I have it. She probably, let's see how many times she's changed it. Hold on. I'm not doing that. You pay for some system and then you give out her phone number. I'm not doing that kind of shit. She's had 10 phone numbers, 3 different numbers since 2024. And she probably uses a burner phone. Well, thanks, Dana. Looking svelte. Well, I don't feel svelte, but thank you. I do have a neck now instead of just chins, right? Living in a fishbowl. Wendy is living in the state of denial. Love it, hey, Mona. Jorge better keep his eyes open. Well, I think if she goes to take like $200,000 out of his bank account, he'll notice. If she puts out, he's staying with her. I want to see watched number go to 2,000. Oh, I see what you're saying, Wesley. What does the boyfriend do for a living? He's in computers. He works in AI. He did it. He worked in AI for nonprofits, which is how I think he met Wendy, because she works for a nonprofit at Amazon Web Services, but he left there and now he's working somewhere else. Boyfriend under the spell. I don't understand it, but I don't understand it. You know what I mean? Like, hold on, let me see something. Let's see if I missed any photos. Mm-mm. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, right? And they only showed. Let's see what this photo is. Did I take this? They only showed. So the boys' photos aren't in here. The boys is not in here. The boys' bathroom isn't in here, and the boys' bedroom isn't in here. So they skipped that. I wonder if he's in the thing, like he's like, I'm going to protect my woman. So he's 55 years old, which is clearly old enough to know better. And do you hear the people outside? See if I can. He was in an apartment complex before. The house is worth $630,000. It said. His father's name was Miguel. Go back. All states are part of the interstate compact, so ignore my non-extradition state question. Thanks, Travis. The boys' bedroom would likely have a picture of Dan Markel, right? Wendy is horrible. It's basic for someone who has money. Her condo was trash, was disgusting. And he's a tech guy. It is basic. Most tech people are basic. Little off the subject. Does anyone think Harvey during trial looked like old man dummy from Jeff Durham? Yes. People made memes about him and made fun of him. Yummy taco salad. Oh my God. Now I want Mexican. Greetings from Putney, Vermont. I bet it's cold up there already. What type of daughter and sister abandon their relationship when their loved one goes to jail? A guilty one. Let me see. Anyone have that picture from Reddit? I can't remember where I put it. To show you that that dress is that dress. Is it here? Mm-mm. Nope. That is that dress. It was an ugly dress she wore. Thank you, Mari, for that $5. I appreciate it. If you're not on the Reddit. Halfway down her boobs at a bar mitzvah. Classy woman, red dress and boobs. Hey, my father's alibi. I sent you an email back. I sent you an email. If you see it, I'm happy to do a show with you. George looks like the big guy on the Monsters, Lurch. Your downstairs is always immaculate. The upstairs, not so much. Pray for the South. Apparently we're going to be hot for a while. Mexican is too spicy for Wendy. Hello, Vicky Watkins, a new sub from the UK, Great Britain. Welcome. I try to be on at night sometimes for those that are in different parts of the country. Why didn't he buy a house? Was it to prevent her from claiming marital property? Well, I don't believe they're married. And I have no idea why he didn't buy a house. Probably because he's moving around a lot. And I think there is something because, okay, he went to work for Amazon. He meets Wendy. He moves to Austin where the hub is for Amazon. Amazon probably, because they wanted him there, paid for a large portion of the rental. He no longer works for Amazon, so he has to move. Does that make sense to everybody? How old is Wendy? I always thought Wendy had a burner phone. Can someone show me which is George? Yeah, I can show you. Hold on. We played videos with him last night. He's pretty boring. I don't think he's bad looking. He's 55. His middle initial is L, as in Lance. Wendy loves Mexicans. Pretty soon they'll be adding a Adelson wing. Love the UK. Hi, Richie, auntie. It's 11 p.m. here in Great Britain. I've seen some pretty classless dresses at a bar mitzvah, but never a party. I think Jorge is fine looking. He has a kind voice. I worry for him as he realizes his girlfriend is a murderer. Thanks, nothing. Rich people I know buy, not rent. I never said he was rich. But if Amazon's paying for your rental, you're going to use that rental. I think Wendy's fashion and her hair faux pas are a direct result of her never doing anything for herself. I haven't posted it yet, illuminating. Deborah Ward. Are you the Deborah Ward? One of my really good friends' name is Deborah Ward. Colorado is going to be a lot more expensive than Denver. These rentals are called executive rentals, typically where a large company is based. Thank you, Tony. Perhaps she will break up with him and he will tell all. Wendy's 46. Why would any man in his right mind want to be with Wendy? From your mouth and your text to God's ears, I have no idea. $3,500 a month gets you a one-bedroom apartment in Toronto. Oh, it won't get you much here in Tallahassee either. Thank you, Patty. Hugs from Oz. Very cool. Maybe Jorge got mama daddy money. Well, no. Miguel, his father, did not have money because I looked it up. His wife did pass away, so there might have been some insurance from that. You sent me the graduation photo. Love you, mean it. Hold on. Telling you that's the damn dress. Hold on. Ding! Ding! Okay. See this dress right here? Where'd it go? Hold on. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. This dress, she was at his graduation at Baylor. These are all adults now. Let me see. And then you have where is it? Here it is. There it is. So it's right there. That is the dress. And it opened like 12 times. And then there. See it? Nobody has more than one of those things. Skinny closet. I doubt she's leaving her boys to some guy she's been with for like 2 years. I don't think so either. I really don't. Never know. No one should have even one of those, let alone multiple variations of that dress. I'm shocked her closet isn't full of navy dresses based on her years. I mean, it does look like a bruise. She's got some long dress here. Not many clothes in there. Well, it probably goes back behind this shower. Are those Dan's boys? Yeah. You just put out an open letter to Ben and Lincoln. I hope they receive it. I just don't know how you keep your kids. Blind, like blind and deaf. How do you keep your kids blind and deaf all these years? How do you just never speak of it? I mean, we know that. Oh yeah, and that's what pisses me off about this photo. She has to be the center of attention no matter what she does. Look at her right there. Why? It's his day. Why do you got to look like that? Stupid ass. But how do you keep your kids blind? How do you do it? Yeah, how do you explain John Lauro as your family member? If she was smart, she would reconcile with Rob and beg him to take care of her sons if she goes to Adelson Hotel. She ain't that smart. I'm not sure how deeply devoted Wendy really is. She uses them as weapons. She might leave them with George with instructions. I hope the Markells get those boys after Wendy's arrest. It's just not happening. It's not happening. They'll get visitation maybe, but they won't get the boys. She's a piece of work. Control. That's how you keep the boys under a rock. Yeah, but they're out and about, right? They play sports. They're involved in after school stuff. It makes no sense. Just makes no sense. We have absolutely no idea where they'll go. Absolutely no idea. But remember Ruth Markel trying to find a Jewish foster home for the boys, and then Wendy cut her off? Might be necessary. Based on the younger one's hair in that photo, blurred face and all, I bet the youngest looks like Dan, the one who was crying for his dad. Yeah, they missed their dad. Whose graduation was it? It was Wendy's lover's son. Always not her graduating. I wonder how she'll explain all of it to her sons. That we're all bad people, that we're all morons, that we're all stupid, and that she did nothing wrong. Sound familiar? If the kids are not allowed to talk about it and she frames it as a whole town out to get her family, for the boys, they would be letting her down by asking her digging. Fair play murder. There's a lot of people, including in Tallahassee, as you could tell by the jury voir dire, that have no idea who the Adelsons are. I think it's going to be harder because, boy, Donna's conviction was everywhere. It was on every channel. What did she tell them about Wendy? I mean, Granny. Do you remember when Charlie was convicted and she had to tell the boys that Charlie was convicted? But that there was some phone call where Donna said that Wendy had to tell the boys. And then, of course, Wendy was saying the most important thing for her to do is take care of the boys. No, Wendy's most important thing for her to do is take care of Wendy. They're coming into an age where they will recognize her narcissistic behavior. I was about their age when I began realizing why my dad left my mom. She lies to the boys. Those kids will get interviewed by FBI when they turn 18. Count on it. They have cell phones. They probably already have done a lot of their own research. Patty, I love you when you call her a stupid ass. She is a stupid ass. I mean, listen, do you remember that phone call? I wonder if we can find it. But it's that phone call. So if you are just tuning in, this is Wendy's rental. It's up for rent. There was that rental after Charlie got convicted with Donna, and she goes on, and Donna's conveying to Charlie because, of course, Wendy refused to talk to Charlie, and she really couldn't because she was an unindicted co-conspirator. And it says in the judge's orders, no co-conspirators can talk to each other. And she goes on and on about how Wendy, she's not really responding. Your brother's asked about you. She said her most important thing she has to do is take care of the boys. It was that well-orchestrated text message she sent to her mother. I think she keeps them blind because the kids were so young and have no memory. The boys will be asking if she's next. The really hard thing for her to explain will be Uncle Robert coming out of nowhere like that. I love that. When I listened to Drina Bernhardt, she was the snitch, the white girl snitch. And she said that Donna was very nervous about Robert's testimony, as she should have been. Some mom has to put 2 and 2 together and Google them. I know. I thought about contacting the Austin media. Where would the boys go if she's arrested? Jorge isn't family. They probably don't have phones. RC says the Adelsons are probably hoping their loyalty jail posts will get them an upgrade to the club level. Charlie directly blames Lincoln For breaking the TV, all kinds of gaslighting likely. The boys have to know their uncle and grandma in prison. Yeah, they do. I mean, that's the way it went. And when Donna was arrested, it was everywhere. And then they have to know mom's going somewhere every other year to testify for a week. And why is that man John Lauro calling all the time? Grandparents have rights. No, they don't. No, they don't. I am one. We do not. I don't think any of the boys' friends have ever heard of this case or know anything about it. Well, they're young, right? They're young boys. Thank you. You emailed the letter. Let me get rid of this for a minute.
A path that honors integrity and love.
Hold on one second. Let me post this. Let me share this. So this is from Allison Galvani, otherwise known as My Father's Alibi, whose mother was murdered when she was a young child.
Dear Benjamin and Lincoln, many people care deeply about you. Your Abba loved you more than anything, and your extended Markel family shares that love. Your grandmother Ruth, grandfather Phil, and Aunt Shelley have spoken often of their daily hope that they may one day be part of your lives and offer their unwavering support. Your Uncle Rob has also shown remarkable courage, choosing a path that honors integrity and love. I want to introduce myself and share why I'm writing. I came to know your father through the community that continues to honor his memory and advocate for justice. Through that connection, I felt drawn to write to you as someone who shares a part of your history. When I was 5 years old, my mother was murdered. My parents were in the midst of a divorce and custody battle. As a child, I clung to my father as my only remaining parent, even as he tried to tarnish my mother's memory. That cast a long shadow over her love. For years, I carried a heavy burden of grief, confusion, and isolation, not knowing how or if I could ever share what I felt. One of the hardest parts was the stigma and not being given the space to grieve. Caught between my father's control, estrangement from family, and the silence that surrounded the truth. There were those in my father's family who knew what had happened but chose to stay silent. That silence deepened my isolation. The unanswered questions haunted me. Who was truly responsible? Why had it happened? Whether I would ever know the full truth. I buried my pain in school and work, but it never truly went away. It wasn't until I became a mother myself that I faced the unbearable truth. The overwhelming evidence showed that my father had killed my mother. That realization was devastating, yet it marked the beginning of my journey toward healing. I want you to know there is no single right way to grieve. You will find your own path in your own time. Talking with someone you trust, whether a friend, family member, or therapist, can help when the weight feels too heavy to carry alone. Healing from childhood trauma is not a straight path, but it is possible. There will be moments of pain, but also moments of peace and even joy. I am now married with 3 wonderful children, the oldest of whom has just started at Yale. Please know that if you ever wish to reach out, I'd be honored to hear from you with heartfelt sympathy.
Yeah, it's a very very small, well,
Dear Benjamin and Lincoln,
small club.
many people
You hope it's a small club that these kids belong to where the parents are unaliving each other. It was well said, and it is intense. It is nice. Thank you for letting me know you did that. Wendy getting arrested will get the boys asking questions and searching, or get them pissed. I mean, it can go either way. I go back to Ansley Williams, who is Mike Williams' daughter. The Denise Williams case here in Tallahassee occurred like when, 03, something like that. When I first moved here in 01, he was still missing. So before that. Anyway, the mother was finally, the guy, Mike Williams, was a property appraiser, private appraiser, and he was shot in Lake Seminole and over Thanksgiving. It was very cold, and his best friend, Brian Winchester, shot him. And it took years. Cheryl Williams was very aggressive and searching for her son and knowing that Denise and Brian had something to do with it. There's a new documentary out on Hulu called Mr. and Mrs. Murder, and it's about that case. So Ansley was just a wee, like she was just like 2 when her dad was killed. And she's like 27 now, I think, something like that. And she has nothing to do with Cheryl Williams, nothing. And Cheryl Williams, I can remember some of the story coming out said Denise Williams told her that she would let her see Ansley if she would let go the search of Mike Williams. And Cheryl said, absolutely not. And Ansley still, to this day, believes her mother is innocent and has nothing to do with Cheryl Williams, her paternal grandmother, or anyone in that family. So it can really go either way. We always, like in this chat, I know people are very, very positive, but you gotta keep an open mind that those boys are almost adults and they're not young boys anymore, and they will be able to do what they want. It's going to be tragic, absolutely tragic, but nonetheless, they'll be able to do what they want. Thanks, Robin Hood, for watching on replay. It's always nice. Thank you. How many trials have we watched? The kids stick to their convicted parents. The Morpheus, like that one out in Colorado, right? He was arrested once, went away, got arrested again. The Morpheus, they're still sticking by him. I don't understand why. I don't. But both my parents lived their natural death, right? I wonder if they quietly hate or resent her in any way right now. I bet they quietly hate us. That's who they quietly hate. Why can't you just leave it alone? I bet that's the conversation. Because think about it. The mom's arrested. They're now real orphans. Not legally, but they are. The last thing they want is us. Yep, Barry Morphew. Cheryl Williams has been a rock star. Hope granddaughter figures out her mother helped kill her and she will reconcile. It's never happening, Nora. It's never happening. I watch all your replays, but it's usually like at midnight. Yeah, well, this came up and I was like, I better share it. So Wendy Adelson's home that she's lived in with Jorge / George. He uses Jorge socially. That's a thing now. In Austin, Texas, where she moved in last August, is up for rent again. It's $3,500 a month. It's a 2-story, 4-bedroom, 3-bath. 1 bedroom and 1 bath was not shown in the listing. My guess is that's where the boys are. The road for Ben and Lincoln will be long and hard. Absolutely. I mean, financially it'll be fine, but the rest of it is like, Everybody they know will be in prison. And Harvey's going to die alone. They probably have phones and are likely aware of public opinion. It could be they're struggling internally. Could be they're, I mean, we just don't know. We just don't know. I always want to follow the Jacksonville case of the red rum of Jared Britigan. It's a very sad case. The baby daughter was in the car. That woman is a twat. I hope she goes. I don't know why that's being extended into 2026 now. It's ridiculous. It's open and shut. But yes, let's extend it. You woke up this morning and started going through Trial Watch withdrawal, Wesley. I didn't. It was a hard week. I pray Wendy doesn't raise the boys like Donna did. Donna was so cold-blooded to say that Ben would not be sad. That was her prayer. Imagine praying that your grandchildren don't remember their father. Yeah, one of them could be if he's over 18, yeah. Can watch his mom go to prison. Denial is extremely protective, Megan. And it's something I don't quite understand in most people. I don't. Like, I tell people my husband was just diagnosed with dementia in May, and the neurologist and I talk about it. You know, there's people who just sit in denial for years and years and years. And then there's the people who think every little thing is dementia. And then the doctor said, and then there's you. And he said, you knew right away. And I said, well, I think I knew right away. I think maybe we're like 6 weeks of not knowing, and then I knew. But I didn't want to sit in denial. I wanted it rectified. You know, you can't. And just to update you on that, my husband was on Aricept, but he's going to have to go off of it. He's not doing well on Aricept. Aricept is the drug that they give you for Alzheimer's. And it's really affecting him and his other medications. He's bipolar and he's always been very stable. He was not stable today. And not stable at all. So I called the psychiatrist and they said, cut it. So, okay, good. Yeah, he's not stable today. So if you could continue to say a prayer for him. But I don't think sitting in denial helps anybody. I mean, people are in denial about, hell, I watched Dr. Pimple Popper. How much denial has to exist for you to have a cyst on the back of your head this size and you don't go take care, get it cut out, you know? I don't even understand it. Good afternoon, PJ. How are you? The red robe satin bar mitzvah dress is in that closet too. It really is. It is. This is Wendy's closet. When. Patty, I'm like you. I recognize and face Jerry's dementia head on hard, but it's not easy. 12 years, dude. I can't do this for 12 years. I've already decided I cannot handle this for 12 years. I barely made it through, what is it? April, May, June, July, August. Yeah, 4 months. 5, no. I don't know how I'm going to face 12 years. I really don't. Benjamin and Lincoln will ultimately appreciate this Justice for Dan community. Imagine if Cheryl Williams, the mother of Mike Williams, had a community like this. She had to stand out on the street with signs. She had to go down to the courthouse with signs. That's how she did it. She was unrelenting about the search for her son. There were when I first moved here, there were billboards up everywhere. Where is Mike Williams? Was a beautiful letter, Aristotle. Thank you, Monica. It is sad. It is sad. He's a lovely man, you know, and people were getting on Bruce Willis, his wife, Emma. She's a young wife, about putting Bruce Willis in another property. And I'm like, you have everyone is like such a backseat driver, right? They have no idea. Unless I was a dementia nurse. So unless you took care of it, you have no idea. And she's a young woman. He's not going to get better. She's not abandoning him. She's just moving him to a safer environment. Because when the violence starts with dementia, it's a long road. And I'm sure he's much further along than what they've shared. You pray she goes to jail. Yes, that was done by Wonderly, and it's called Over My Dead Body is the podcast where she called it the latex spouse. Are you allowed to disclose his meds to us? My husband's? Yeah. I mean, it was Aricept, 10 milligrams. He's not going to be on it after today because I'm not putting up with that. Like, I'm not. So, but he's not on it. I think Aricept is just like one of those make you feel better medications. I'm sure if there's a physician in here, they could share that too. But, you know, the neurologist wanted to try. And when I questioned him on it, he said that it could be the 6-month difference between going in a nursing home. Okay. But you still have to have a quality of life. Chris didn't have a memory before, but he wasn't so agitated. He was intolerable. And he's a big guy. He's 6'3", 6'3 and a half. He's a big man. And yeah, I'm not doing that. So when I called the psychiatrist. So the other thing the neurologist told me was that, and I was like, look, when I worked at the memory care facility, I was the head nurse. You know, there's people around there who barely remembered how to eat, right? They're gone. Their mind is shot. It's really gone. And they're still on Aricept. Now, that's a big pharma issue right at that point. They don't need Aricept because they barely remember how. Aricept is not prompting them to know how to chew. That's how far gone their brains are. So no, we're not playing the game. So when I called the psychiatrist, I said, you know, Chris is manic. He's manic right now. He was bipolar, but he's been stable for all these years. Like, I've never seen him like this. And he said, take him off the Aricept. He said it shouldn't happen, but it could have happened. So you just never know. In this case, he's going to be a special case that just take him off. So I threw it down the toilet. And yes, I know people are going to complain about that, but I did. Patty, I applaud you and how proactive you are with helping your husband. Thank you. Maybe Donna picked out Wendy's clothes. My mom is so obsessed with the pimple poppers. I know, but it's denial. Sorry to hear Chris isn't doing well. Yeah, he's not. Not today. Patty wasn't doing well earlier today either. Jesus, Son of God, have mercy on Chris and Patty. Oh, thank you, Missy Ann. I could use it. This is the Texas home. Thank you. My mom was on the Aricept trials many years ago and had to come off of it after a month due to the side effects on her kidneys, and it did nothing to help her Alzheimer's. A friend of mine came in one day. I'm a notary, so I notarized some stuff for her, and she told me her dad has dementia, whatever type it is. And he was with her. That's why I had to notarize, and on his behalf. And she said that she took her dad off Aricept, like he was delusional. And that's what Chris is. I think that's a better way to describe it, as delusional. Like, he was determined to drive today. I thought it was going to be an all-out war. Now, the car cannot be driven. I disconnected the battery, so it cannot be driven. But he was going to drive. Debbie says, I can see the boys thinking maybe Charlie may have been convicted without cause, but his grandmother and them, this mother, the older boy is working towards college. I wonder if Harvard would take him. Well, from what I gather, they're very smart. Wendy better fast and just drink her wine because she's going to blow up behind bars. Oh, she is not going to handle it well. Any gossip at the courthouse about the alternate jurors would have voted? I have no gossip at all. But my friend Greg Tish is going to have one of the jurors on in the morning on the Greg Tish show here in Tallahassee. So feel free to, let me get that. I post it. Hold on. And you could listen to that interview. The Greg Tish show, which is the station we're on, but they do air Facebook Live. What time are they going to at 8:30? 8:30 in the morning, he is going to have on the juror. So this is the Greg Tish show. Feel free to tune in. He'll love that. You can't watch the Pimple Show. Man, I can watch it all day, Scott. I love it so much. Dementia. Hey, Megan. She's an RN. Dementia is one of the absolute worst diseases, personally and clinically. Sending you prayers. Thank you, Megan. Wendy's new closet will be full of orange jumpsuits. Guess she didn't move her Peloton to Austin. My granddaughter lives in Germany and her husband's stationed there. Donna was in their local paper, guilty. Oh my God. It was inappropriate bra mitzvah. Harvey can't pass. What would send the weekly goodie baskets? I know. There's not a lot of support at this stage in this town. It's just not a lot of support for my husband. What definitely, yes. I shared it. Here it is again. Let me show you what it looks like. Show you the photo on the Facebook. My man Greg. We talk with one of the members of the jury, doesn't say who, Tuesday at 8:30. Now, Greg didn't attend the trial, but he's a good interviewer. So pay attention. That's Greg. He's a lot thinner than that now. He's a good guy. You might enjoy it. What a waste of a pretty for Wendy. She could have had a really decent life. Wendy is the blog. Oh, there is a Real Talk app. Let me show you. Oh, this is their website. And you can, where is it? Weekly lineup, you'll see me. Patty, that's me. But you can go on the Real Talk app and download it and listen live, or you can watch it on Facebook. Thank you, PJ. But if you're new, I have a radio show. That's why I know. Where is it? Patty. Has Preston Scott ever covered the verdict? I don't know. I don't listen to Preston Scott. It's a competing station. You started following on Facebook. Thank you, Chloe's mom. Greg's going to love that. One of my best friends in college did not survive early onset, and we lost her at 51. That is very rare. I remember a lady when I worked at Altera. that she was like in her 50s. She was a redhead and she had it early on, and it's brutal. Brutal. So anyway, he'll be on with one of the jurors. I just don't know. Dan could have had a good life, right? My sister has been diagnosed with early onset at 48 and is now 53. Ugh. I have 2 cousins diagnosed 54 and in hospice, and one is 46. Jesus, Maui, I'm so sorry. George is under the spell. No judgment. Yeah, I know. I understand that. It's just hard. You know a person, and then I have to think of Chris clinically more than I have to think of him as my husband, which is really hard. But I will say my brother-in-law, who lives in California, has been great support. Because he can talk to Chris where I can't. Because Chris just thinks I'm out to get him right now. So it's hard. She's under my 73-year-old mother is caring for my sister. Oh, God. It's just crazy. And there's really, let's face it, there's really no help for Alzheimer's. Nursing home help. But Chris can walk and talk, and if you don't talk to him every day, you will probably would notice something's off, but you wouldn't know how much it's off. I don't think she's a knockout. She is not a knockout. Wendy Adelson is not a knockout. It's awful to think of her as pretty. I think she's just a vicious human being, and I don't like her. I found you accidentally over the weekend with a video of you doing the drive to Danny's house, and it was amazing. I know. Thank you for your post. It was very nice of you to respond. So I am done for tonight. I had a little scoop that Wendy's home is up for rent. And here's the link. I'm going to put it here if you guys are tuning in. Here's the link to the property. You guys can go and look. I can't share too much because YouTube, screws you over. But here is the link that I just placed in here. Did it come up? Yeah, right there. See it? That's the link. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me for those few minutes. Hour 42. I have the best subscribers. Oh, I got some stars to give out. Hold on. Thank you, Silver Tresses. Very, very nice of you to contribute to my time and helping me support the channel. My humble opinion, thank you. And Mari, thank you. Roosevelt Media News, thank you so much. Is this the same George that she was cheating with? No, it isn't. That was Miguel and David. She cheated a lot. And Mark, thank you very much, Mark. Mark behind his Penn State Nittany lion. I could see that. Your compassion and candor make you a joy to watch. You make difficult days better. Headed your way from Penn State. Thank you for all the exceptional investigative talents. God bless you and Chris. Thank you so much. But Mark, love your Nittany lion. We are.